Welcome to Custom Home Builders Solutions Tutorials for CHS on the web. Please make this full screen for best viewing. We're continuing our videos about how to post payroll, etc. in CHS. And even though CHS is not going to do the payroll calculations for you because we do think it's in your best interest to use a payroll service, if you have someone on staff who understands how to do payroll or has a CPA to help them, you can actually go ahead and print checks, post your journal entry and print checks in CHS to hand to the employee if you just really don't want to use an outside payroll service and handle it yourself. So this video is going to be about how you can do that in CHS. So we're going to click the button that opens the payroll menu over here. And then we're going to add a new payroll check journal entry. And what we'll be doing is entering the journal entry, and we'll just use an office admin person. And let's say it's the end of January that we're going to do this. And I'll get a warning about how I did something in the future. And you could use, if you know what check number you are going to be printing, you could use that, or you can use whatever batch ID, 6 digits for the date or some part of their name, whatever you want to post as the journal entry batch ID. So we're going to create a journal entry for April Smith. And as we explained in previous videos, you'll be entering amounts for the journal entry and then coming down to the amounts in this column here of your records will total right here for a net paycheck. And you can see that you can either post that net paycheck to a bank account. For instance, the payroll service has done your checks already and you're just posting it. Or you can actually choose a current liability payable account to hold the amount in and then go print a check in accounts payable and clear that liability account. So let's just quickly do this as fast as we can so we can get on to printing the checks. So I've done regular pay, and it's grabbed her where we like to have her stuff posted, and we'll do 40 hours. That's all we need to do there. Then we'll do federal withholding. It'll grab, it'll go fetch the GL number that goes with that, the accounting GL number, and then we're going to say we used our Circular E and we know that we need to withhold $195 for federal withholding. Then we'll do Social Security, and if we're doing our own payroll and we know the amount that's supposed to be withheld for Social Security, then we can use the fact that this is going to be quantity times rate to get a total. And so we'll put in, we know it's 6.2%, which that would be a 0.062. And we need to have a minus amount, so use a minus amount. This is her gross pay, so we're multiplying it. And then it'll supply this amount for the employer expense over here. Now if you happen to know or have a paycheck that for some reason the employer is not exactly matching it because they've changed the laws, you can just type in an amount here for the employer withholding. In Medicare, we're going to do the same thing, which is 1.45% of the gross pay. So that would be 0.0145 that we'll use here to just let this do our little math for us. And we'll put minus 1,000, which gets me the $1,450 that will be withheld. And then it'll supply a $1,450 amount over here, and the expense account we chose to post payroll tax, employer payroll tax expenses for this particular employee. You can also add more lines if you need to do state withholding, add other things to their paycheck, various things, but we'll keep this simple right now. So we've come down to a net paycheck of $728.50, and we'd like to print a check for her. But even though CHS is not printing payroll checks per se, I'm going to go ahead and instead of posting it to a bank account as if the check was printed, I typed in a 2-3 to get to the area I know as my payroll, various payroll payables under current liabilities. And I have one called Payroll Liabilities 2345. You could set one up that just says payroll checks due or something, so that you're going to use this number when you post the bill basically to pay her as a vendor. So I'm letting it be posted to that liability account 2345. Now I can go ahead and view the journal entry that was just posted, just because I want to, and make sure everything has been, but you can see that that net amount was posted to this payroll liabilities account and various other things. We talked about these before. But if you're doing payroll yourself, you can go ahead and right now print a payroll stub. You probably want to export it to PDF, and I may have to wait just a second on this because I need to trigger up a report server that hadn't been started yet for this to print. But a good idea is to go ahead and get this into PDF, because you can keep it minimized maybe in your taskbar and refer to it. But it is 728.50, and this is going to ask if I want to open it. I'm on my local machine. It looks a little different, and so I've opened it, and what I'm going to do is minimize this and keep it, because I'm going to print it in a bit and give it to her, but I'm also going to reference it while I'm working to go post a check for her. So where you post that, where you can print checks, is actually in accounts payable, where you're paying bills. What you'll need to do, I clicked the post approved bills. What you'll need to do is set the employees up as vendors, and they'll have to have a little bit of different code because employees and vendors are kept separate, which I've already done. I've set up April Smith as a vendor, and so I'm clicking the button to post a new payables bill, and it's going to be the vendor that I set up that's April Smith, and I'm going to create a quick bill for this employee. I slow things down by running all these videos and everything at the same time. Now that was January 31st, so we'll still do the thing and get a warning about future date. But I'll just use 6 digits for the date as my invoice number. And I set her up on her employee setup. I gave her a default GL number of this 2345 payroll liabilities, because I knew most checks I wrote to her were going to be for that, and I also set up a default description on the vendor setup screen so that it'd be for this, so I don't have to do much except give it a date and give it the amount I'm paying, which is $728.50. Now what this will do, by posting it to this GL account number, will clear that payroll payable liabilities account out. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this. You'll be able to do this much faster. I'm running a video, so it's a lot slower. And we could leave it as unpaid to pay later and run a whole check run of several employees, but we'll go ahead and print the check now. You can probably hear my dog eating food in the background. That's so funny. So now drinking water. So we'll do a check date of this January 31st also, and we do have check 8003. It's telling me about the future thing. Normally you won't be getting all that because you won't be doing the future. It's going to check to see if I already have a check number for this, and I could have selected a different checking account like payroll checking if I wanted instead of my default one. And then we would print the check, which is going to open, and you'd of course put your checks in and you'd print it, and we're not going to actually run a print thing here, but the checks would open, or you could run a string of checks, and then you print this check. When you close the window, you tell it to yes, post the check, because it ran okay, and you can give that check to your employees along with the copy of that this stub, basically, and then you will have accomplished producing a payroll check in CHS. You can also do, if we go back to the payroll menu, you're going to see that there, first of all, you can see all your list of journal entries you've made on the web for payroll, the payroll journal entries that you've made, and you can click to see that full JE report, give them an employee report. But if we do April Smith's, employee year report, we can see the total through for the year that has been the year 2015, because it'll use this date that's right by it that goes with the date that it was produced. And also you can go to the payroll database and you can print all kinds of things, which we will be doing I believe in the very next video. I will go over the payroll database to show you how you can produce information. Basically the next videos will be a little bit about producing various reports, etc. So this is a big payroll database that has all the records from forever of doing payroll in CHS, and there's ways to search it and find all kinds of information. So thank you for watching. I hope that helped you know how you could actually produce some checks in CHS if you know what you're doing for payroll and you just want to do it that way. Thanks for watching.